What's up, guys? Before we get started today, I just want to remind everybody, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to ER Comedy. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me, and I'm appreciative for everybody who's ever done one of those things. Before we get today's episode started, I want to read off, I got a couple upcoming comedy dates. On September 20th, I'll be in Clarksville, Tennessee for Comic Invasion. September 21st, I'll be in Bowling Green, Kentucky for Comic Invasion. September 27th, I will be in STL at the Crack Fox, so make sure you come out. That's also to promote the show, Comic Invasion. September 28th, I'll be back in STL with my good friend Rob T over in University City. He runs a showcase over there. It's going to be a great time. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. On October 4th, I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee. On October 5th, I'll be in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And November 9th, I will be in Clarksville. Oh, it was perfect until that moment. I will be in Clarksville, Tennessee on November 9th. So, guys, make sure you come out. It should be a lot of fun. What's up, guys? My guest today is Cori Stewart. She's a friend of the podcast, comedian. She used to be based here in St. Louis, but now has moved out to Colorado. So you can catch her at the Denver Comedy Works, doing shows all over the place. And make sure you follow her online. She's very funny. She's one of my good friends, and she's been a big supporter of the podcast. Out. I'm glad you said you wanted to come back and do it again.
Yeah, this is my favorite. I love it.
I appreciate that. Do you have you want to plug your social media or any shows or anything you got
can find me at Cori Does Stuff, Cori_does_stuff on Instagram, Cori Stewart on Facebook. Upcoming shows. I have shows this weekend at Helium and then nothing really in St. Louis. In Denver, I'll be doing some weirdo shows, but I don't know the dates. So, just trying to get through the week, you know?
Aren't we all? Aren't we all just, at the end of the day, it's like, can we just wrap it up? There's so many times where I feel that way. I'm just like, I just want to go home. Like, I just want to, I
am home, and I want to go to other home.
I can only imagine. Well, yeah, given the option between Denver and St. Louis. Yeah. Oh, man, I forgot what I was going to say. But I love Denver so much.
I do, too.
It's such a cool city. It's just, I don't know. I felt out of place the last time I was there because I was...
With a pullover like that, you felt out of place.
No. This is a brand new me. Yeah.
Those sandals, that pullover.
Yeah, I know. These
fit right in.
Yeah, these rubber sandals that are broken because my big gargantuan toes are breaking them apart.
You've made them just more comfy. The goal in Denver is actually just to dress like a toddler. So
nailing it.
Right?
Yeah. I am a little jealous. I wish that men could wear jumpers and you know, I
this
just
is
feel
a
like
very comfy fabric. This is my go-to comfy gal. Maybe I'll do a cartwheel in public outfit.
If you're lucky.
It says demure clown, I think. Circus clown, not Pagliacci opera clown.
My wardrobe, I think, just says I quit. I think it's just
chill. I quit.
Yeah. I'm like
not in an angry way.
I'm quiet quitting. My wardrobe is, how do I convey that I don't want to work here anymore?
More like a give up than quit.
Yeah. I want my wardrobe to personify a white flag. And that's what I would like. A nice just, hey, I think I'm going to go ahead and pack it up. All right.
I've never seen you in a shirt that wasn't like sweat wicking. So this is a nice change.
Or a fishing shirt that has vents in it to let everything breathe.
Just absorbs all of the
Yeah.
discontent.
All the hate and just pour. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, thanks for coming.
I'm not ripping on you. I love it. I feel the same way. You know how much this baby can suck up so much sweat? This romper right here.
You know how much skin cells you can fit in this bad boy right here? No, I don't know. I always am torn. My least favorite rule in comedy is that you can't wear shorts. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but I really want to wear shorts. Like, it's hot.
I think that's just here.
Yeah.
I see people in other places.
I see lots of comics doing it, and I'm like, I always said that if I was going to write a book about the rules of stand-up comedy, mm-hmm. it would say, the title of the book would be, "You can never, ever, ever, ever do this unless." And then that would just be, because for every rule, there's 17 exceptions. Where it's like, you can never talk about politics unless you're this person, this person, this person. You know, you can never wear shorts on stage unless
you don't have lumpy legs.
Hey, I'm not.
I feel like I have lumpy legs. I don't want to do it.
One of my favorite comics, Sam Talent.
He has some lumpy. Well, that.
He's a big shorts guy and not the most athletic legs in the world. Not knocking you, Sam. I know you're watching. That's the one thing that anyone ever sees from this podcast is me just bashing another comedian's gross legs. Yeah, while I sit here in my drug rug and rubber shoes. Anyway. Yeah, but thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm so glad.
How long are you in town for? Just
shows at Helium Friday and Saturday, and then I drive to Kansas City and do a show there, and then drive overnight back to Denver, and then I'm doing Comedy Works on Tuesday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard Denver Comedy Work. People have said that that's like one of the best clubs in the country.
The room is electric, and it's so fun. And like when you do, so I'm doing the new talent kind of system. So your first time you get 2 minutes up, then 3 minutes, and you stay there maybe, or you go up to 4 minutes, but then you can stay posted up at 4 minutes, quote C set for years and years before you become a pro there. But at New Talent Night, you see Josh Blue or
I love Josh
John
Blue.
Novosad, or like all of these comics that I really, really admire. Yeah. So,
if you're out there and you're a comedy fan and you're looking for a good special to watch, look up Josh Blue Sticky Change.
Yeah. John
One of my
Novosad
favorites.
too he's from Boulder. But he put out a special like 2 years ago, and it's incredible. He usually works mostly like he's a dry bar guy, I think.
Cool.
So, really funny.
That's dry bars are taking off.
Yeah.
If you can write clean.
Yeah. I did a show with Brad Upton, who has like, at the time he had the #1 special on Dry Bar, and he had been doing stand-up for decades and decades, like toured with Joan Rivers, really funny, so great, and he kind of took off when his Dry Bar special took off. And so Pat House, who I'm at Helium with, is also, he's also, like, he works with Brad all the time, and they're both, Pat's very, very funny, Brad's funny. Yeah, pretty good. That's all. That was a tangent.
No, that reminded
Clean
me.
Comedy.
First of all, when you said that the Denver Comedy, you were like, the room is electric. In my head, I just instantly was like,
Boogie woogie.
Yeah, it's electric. Boogie woogie woogie. Like, okay. So I had to get that out. But also, you mentioned Joan Rivers, probably one of the most underrated comedians of all time. There are videos.
Mean.
Yes, mean, but in a fun, like it wasn't. I don't know. When I watch her stuff, I don't ever think like, ew, she's bitter and mean. Because there's some comics who are bitter and mean.
I
But I think that was just like,
Her stand up was less so like in the 80s and 90s, but I think when she started doing her show and that became her thing,
well,
when
like
it
her
was just
fashion
yeah.
police thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was pretty malicious, I thought.
But
But
there are videos of her and Don Rickles, and they're trading shots. I mean, blow for blow.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, man, she is great, you know?
She
and
is.
she's,
Yeah.
I think she's one of the most underrated comedians. If you're not familiar with her, people don't think about her when they like list. But she's got, man,
Something that's something that I think about a lot is how we believe that misanthropy and like sarcasm and those things are kind of like new to the last whatever 25 years or 30 years, that there wasn't like dark comedy before 1990 or whatever, I don't know.
yeah,
But if you go back and you watch older comics like Don Rickles, like if you listen to Red Fox, there was really, really funny, mean, dark comedy and it's been around forever. Like as far back as Candide by Voltaire, and it was like that book was like the first satire, you know. And then when you look at movies from the 40s and 50s, people who are kind of like comedies, and Billy Wilder movies, including Sunset Boulevard, like they're so darkly funny. And I just didn't know, you know, I personally didn't think that existed before the last 20-25 years. So
yeah. I've never read Voltaire, but I mean, I know that, like, man, I'm trying to think of there was a Shakespeare book I read, and I remember thinking, like, this is just this is comedy. Like, some of it doesn't translate anymore, but it is, like, this is, I can see this as a play, as being acted out. This would be funny. And you know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't realize, like, it really starts all the way back then. Like, I heard somebody say the other day that Mark Twain was the first stand-up comic, first American stand-up comedian. And I'm like, I don't think that he's the first. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no I'm sure that if you went back and you actually heard like Socrates or something, I bet you there was humor involved. Like, I bet when
Abraham
he was
Lincoln was supposedly pretty funny. Real bad heckler, though.
funny
One
looking.
real bad heckler.
One critic, one real opinionated. No, I don't know. I'd love to see who really would be the first stand-up comic. Because when I heard somebody say Mark Twain, I was like, maybe.
Hast thou heard about the apps? Hast thou heard?
Oh, man. Okay, first question. Let's get into it. Best Gatorade flavor. Are you, well, first off, are you a Gatorade person?
Body Armor.
Body Armor, okay.
I like Body Armor. And,
Okay.
they have like delicious fruity flavors like strawberry banana, sugar free. I will drink Gatorade. I like anything that is red or pink
Okay.
because I'm a
My-
girl's girl.
I will say my least favorite flavor of all time is fruit punch.
Really?
So that eliminates most red
Oh.
drinks. I've said it a million times, and I'm sure people are sick of hearing it, but it can never get cold enough. Fruit punch can never be cold enough, because no matter how cold it is, the back of your throat, you're still like, it kind of leaves that like.
It all tastes a little chemically, so
Yeah,
really,
it's all
it's all just
yeah.
aspartame and
Xanthan gum, just like Grandma used to make.
coconut water is a good one for
Is
when you
it?
need to rehydrate. Yeah.
I've always been my go-to. So I just picked Gatorade because that's like the most notable one that people, but Pedialyte, that is my go-to. If I'm feeling,
yeah, I'll get there's one that is specifically marketed for when you've gone too hard. An electrolyte drink
Yeah.
that says,
yeah, it's
"We've
always
made this for you, you fucking derelict. Don't take the children's drink.
yeah, exactly. There's
There are
there's-
children with the flu who need this."
You're like, shut up, Timmy. Daddy went a little hard last night. No, I love Pedialyte. Nothing, man. There's nothing better than when you wake up and you're at rock bottom. You know what I mean? And you look in the fridge and there's a cool blue.
A cool, delicious
you're like,
bottle of chemicals
a
that's going to
bottle
send you
of-
to the top.
It's basically just an IV with a screw top. You're just let it. Yeah, bring me back to life. It's sweet elixir. Man, nothing beats that. I don't know. If I was gonna pick a Gatorade, I would say probably light blue.
I don't know about that tar flavored one there in the middle.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, road tar. Oh,
yeah,
delicious.
yeah.
This is what's at the bottom of my lungs after smoking for decades.
Yeah, this is the La Brea Tar Pits. We actually call this Appalachian Lung, is what this is called. Yeah, nice coal miners.
This is a 10-year-old child circa 1930 in the mountains.
Why does that sound different? Huh. For whatever reason, it just sounded a little off.
Better
Yeah.
now? Yeah, maybe it was my
Who knows?
my sips.
Who
The little
knows?
sippy sips affecting the sounds.
Yeah, could you keep your sips down to a minimum? Okay, best concert you've ever been to?
Oh, Kenny Hoopla in Omaha, Nebraska. Kenny Hoopla is like pop punk. And he is incredible. Like, the music is good, but his stage show is so high energy and so fun to dance to. And like, I've seen The Dead a bunch of times. Like, I've seen every iteration of The Dead, and that's kind of music that I mostly listen to until I mostly stopped smoking weed. And then I branched out a little bit, but now I'm right back.
Now I'm back in there. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I've never been into The Dead. We went to Austin last year, a bunch of comics, and Ben Johnson was in the car, and he was like, I told him I'd never really listened to him, and he was like, well, here, check this song out, and it was pleasant, it was enjoyable.
It is like good background music but as long as you're doing something else.
Right. It was kind of weird how it was like we drove 30 miles and then he was like, so what did you think of that song? And I was like, that was the same song? He was like, yeah. It's just, a jam band. And I was like, oh, yeah, I would. I couldn't. I don't think I could do that. I'm not a huge music person to begin with. So it's like.
I saw them. My father took me to see them when I was like a little kid. And then I saw the last Grateful Dead concert with Jerry Garcia at Riverport, and then I've seen every iteration. I went to Soldier Field to see their reunion show, and I've seen other configurations of them.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, like, I enjoy that music, and now I like 2.5 minutes that I can bob to and then be done.
Yeah.
I go to ecstatic dance, and so those are like long, free-form kind of like spiritual groove songs, and it's like ecstatic dance is incredible, and it's like EDM if to fill your spiritual void, and people, it's just a lot of It's exactly what you would expect in Denver at an EDM show at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Smells real bad.
I was about to. I had no idea what to picture, but 10 a.m. on a Sunday, I can just.
Yeah, it's like with like Alan Watts coming through. Are you who you think you are?
I'd be like, I need to leave.
Yeah, I've felt like some like onset of panic because it is very much like doing drugs without doing drugs, because it's all like, it is like being at a EDM show. So maybe this is like my favorite recurring concert right now, is going to Ecstatic Dance on Sundays.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like an ongoing concert where you just
yeah.
kind of like come in and out as you want.
Like, and then there are drums and people are like
dancing in public to me is such a like a absolutely not, like just
Really?
like
I
I'm
love
so
to dance.
uncomfortable.
It makes me so happy. It's
I just can't. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been free enough to just let myself like just groove, and it's like no, I'm not groovy.
I did the celebrity fundraiser basketball game for Denver Comics like last month, and volunteered to also, I played basketball, but I also volunteered to do the halftime dance. And I was expecting like there would be like 10, 15 of us.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like doing palms or something in high school.
Yeah.
There were 4 of us. And like it was in front of like all of my peers that I don't really know yet. And it was so fun. I feel like dancing is so liberating. It's like, it's unfettered joy for me. And I did a cartwheel and everyone was like, "Ah!" And it was so fun. It felt so good.
When on my 26th birthday, I tried to do a cartwheel and I almost popped my shoulder out of place and landed on my head. I was like, yeah, I think I'm done.
I've had bad tumbling experiences as an adult. Like I did a round off when I was 31 and had to go to a chiropractor for 2 months.
No. For my son's 7th birthday, I believe, we went to a trampoline park, and I was like, I don't want to be the lame dad that goes and sits in the chairs and waits for the kids. So I was like, come on guys, let's play tag. And like, I was like coming up with activities and we were jumping and doing all kinds of stuff. And I tore my hamstring.
Oh, no.
And I had to like crawl on my belly, like across like 6 trampolines just to get out of the like jump area or whatever. And I was so
kids were
painful.
like kicking you.
Yeah, kids were like jumping around me and they were like, "What's wrong, Dad? Get up. You know, they're like doing like TikTok dances and stuff. And I'm like, I can't do it. It hurts so bad. But I go to my mom comes and picks me up from the trampoline park because I was like, well, I don't want to ruin the party. You guys stay here.
Did they take you out in a stretcher?
No, they asked. I had a lady come over and she's like, "Do you need to borrow my cane?" And I was like, No, I just need to. Please leave me. You know how like when you're really hurt and the last thing you want to do is answer questions or talk to people, and people only want to talk to you, and you're like, "Please stop, please. I'm super sweaty. I know I smell bad, and my leg hurts more than I can explain to you." It's like the worst cramp I've ever gotten in my entire life. But the worst part was like, my mom takes me to the VA. I walk in and I'm like, I was like, I hurt my leg. I don't know what I did. And she was like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "I was jumping at a trampoline park."
You knew what you did.
Yeah.
You knew exactly.
Well, as soon as I said I was jumping at a trampoline park, the lady went, "Sir, we both know you are too big for that." Like
what?
that. And I was like,
No.
Yeah. She was like, "You, sir." Like, And I don't.
That's not a. That's.
I don't think
I
she
don't-
meant weight wise, but I am 6'6".
Yeah, I
and
was
so
talking
it's
about
like
this last night. I was nicknamed Big Cori back in the day. I worked at a casino.
I'm sure that was great for self-esteem.
It was so good for me. I was a waitress there, and there was a lady who was like very short, and I'm tall, so I think they meant.
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know
Yeah.
what the inner machinations are. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So long as well, I don't know. It didn't start great. Was as a kid, it was like all my friends were shopping here, and I was at the Husky section.
Right.
And you're like,
Yeah.
what is Husky?
My
mean?
mother worked at a Sears, and she was like ecstatic that there was a Husky section there because she could save so much money on
Yeah.
my clothes.
Whenever you go to a big and tall, it's always more big than tall. You know what I mean? Like it's never. Yeah, which is sad. Where's the best place to sit at a baseball game?
Oh, damn. This is a great question. I was just there yesterday, and I sat.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw your story on Instagram, and I was like, "Well, could be a fun one."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I like.
I know it's hard to see, but it's just kind of, and it's Busch Stadium, so.
I don't feel like I want to be right up on the field. I want to be a little ways back, maybe like not field, but like first tier, first terrace.
Right.
And then, because then you get a good overview. And when I was there yesterday, we just kind of walked around, which I had never done. Like my family was always like, you get to your seats, you sit in your seats,
and you
don't-
watch
you
the
don't
game.
disturb anyone. But we fucked off, and fucking off is my favorite thing to do. And fucking off during an afternoon baseball game, it's the best.
Yeah, right?
I know it was. Yeah, it's so great. But also, have you ever been to a Grizzlies game in Sauget? Well, they have hot tubs there.
Whoa.
Hot tubs at the baseball stadium. And I think they have a pool somewhere in Busch. But hot tubs in a minor league stadium in Sauget, Illinois. I don't know what's in those jets. You know what I mean? Where does the hepatitis live?
Do you get a rash after the game? Yeah, probably. But
But you can sit in there, you can get a Krispy Kreme burger and just let the syphilis flow in and out of you.
and I'm pretty sure that's what the founding fathers envisioned for this country.
Intended.
It's like, we want donuts, we want burgers with donuts for buns. We want free-flowing, dermatological diseases, something that possibly eats away at your skin. That's fine.
Yeah.
I like if you're going for good seats. I like if you're first level, but far enough back to where the overhang is, because then you get a little bit of shade.
Yeah, that's exactly where we were yesterday too.
That's great.
Amazing.
But I will tell you this: last year, a bunch of comics got together and we went to go see Wainwright's last game, and we were up in the very top section, like here, like as far away from the game as you could possibly be, and there wasn't a ton of people around. It was great.
Really?
Yeah. We could be ourselves. We could do what we want. People left us alone. Like, you didn't have to worry about, like, hey, there's kids around. Maybe we should, whatever. But it's like, you were just, we were free. And even like the security people, the security people didn't want to come all the way up there, So it's like, not that we were doing anything bad, but you was just free to just kind of like
guys being bros.
Yeah. And I mean, it was fun. It was just a good time, and that was one of the most fun times I've ever had at a baseball game.
Yeah. I have had the pleasure of doing all-inclusive suites pretty often for like work-connected things, but I don't really like that.
I'm not.
I like being able to eat all of the hot dogs and nachos that I
Yeah,
want.
the
But
unlimited food's fun, but
But I like the possibility of maybe catching a baseball or getting smacked in the head with a bat maybe.
I'm like the Little Mermaid. Like, I want to be where the people are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels. I don't know. It feels kind of when you go into one of those like suites and stuff. It's cool for the first like 2-3 innings, and then after a while, you just like you look around and
Yeah.
nobody's watching.
And
They're all
it's-
talking
yeah,
and
it's
like,
not-
and you're like, guys, why are we even here? Like, we could do
Yeah, we
this.
could-
We could
we
meet
could
at the
network
library.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Have you ever been on one of the cams? Kiss
like
cam, dance cam,
um,
pick a shell cam or helmet cam.
not at
Have you
a
ever-
not at a baseball game, but at a Rams game one time. They were doing some promotional thing where they gave out these foam. They were the Energizer Bunny. They were like pink foam rabbit ears or whatever, and they gave it to us. And I found out that if you took two of them and you folded them, you could loop it around your ear and it would look like a big beard. And so I did
That's
that.
not what I was thinking. Those two things would loop together to make.
But I got on TV for it because I was just sitting there with this big foam beard or whatever, just acting like everything was normal, and everybody was like, "You're on your TV." And then the next day, I went into school, and one of my coaches stopped me. He was like, "Were you at the Rams game yesterday?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What was on your face?" Like, it's just like not happy with me at all for whatever reason. I remember
got
he was like
on-
annoyed by it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like,
Just
why?
disappointed with you.
I was like, you should expect this from me. What about you? Have you ever been on a...
I got on dance cam. Like my kid was sitting next to me and I went for it. I was like, I got up
You
in the
have to.
aisle and like I hit the moves. I've told you about my love for dance. Took ballet, took tap, 10 years, and like if I get an opportunity to show off the moves because I'm not doing it professionally,
Yeah.
I gotta share them wherever I can. I have to share the love of dance with the world. And
You're
my
not
kid-
doing it professionally yet.
Oh, yeah.
there we go.
There's still a possibility.
There's
I could
time.
get, like the St. Louis Ballet Corps, maybe.
They might call.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know when I'm gonna get called up. They're gonna see some of my work on the dance cam or whatever.
I like that, getting called up to the ballet. Like you're in the minors.
I'm just stretching on a bar all the time.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
stretching. Yeah, it was really embarrassing for my child who was sitting right next to me.
My kids aren't at the age yet where they're too embarrassed. Well, I would think that my daughter...
Your daughter
My
isn't
daughter's
it?
15, and...
That's how old I think that's how old my kid was.
she's
when I was on
not.
that.
She is pretty cool with like most everything. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and she's like, yeah, let's do that. You know, she's my son occasionally gets embarrassed, but he mostly thinks it's funny. Like he thinks most things are funny. So any chance to be silly and goofy, he enjoys.
I think daughters and fathers have a better relationship in that way than mothers and daughters, because I had my kid when I was super young and everything that I've done has always embarrassed her. Like it's always humiliated her. I've been humiliating her since she could speak. Essentially, like oh God, Mom.
Her first words were stop.
That's embarrassing.
You're like, here comes the broccoli. Mom.
Mom, you can't serve food that way, and you shouldn't be wearing that shirt.
Mom, do you even have a pilot's license? All right, like don't try to like. She's just like breaking you down with logic. My kids are pretty cool. They every now and then I'll do something that my daughter's like, why would you say that? And I'm like, sorry. She told me the other day that my clips from this podcast pop up on the algorithm of like kids she goes to school with. Mm-hmm. And so she'll be walking down the hall and she'll hear my voice and look over and someone's watching like and they
great.
don't know I'm her dad. Like they don't know she's my daughter. So like, she's like, sometimes it's cool because they're like, this guy's funny, and then sometimes they're like, this guy's an idiot, and his stuff always pops up on my algorithm. So it's like, all right, but it's funny. It's funny when you get bullied at your daughter's high school. You know,
You're taking the heat off.
yeah, hopefully. But I am always a little nervous that someday I'm going to say something that like then gets traced back to her, you know, and it's like,
What a good dad.
it does. Well, it's weird because it's like I want to do comedy, you know, I want to make people laugh and stuff like that, and inadvertently because I want the spotlight, it kind of shines on like my life,
Yes.
and they didn't ask for that. So it's like, it's unfair to them. And I always get a little, like, sometimes I get real nervous about it. And I'm like, oh, are you guys okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I doing anything that's too,
Yeah.
you know, anything? And, you know, it sucks because, like, somebody will ask you a question and you're like, oh, I've got a funny story. Nope, can't. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to compartmentalize comedy life from other life, because I have a very serious, very sad job, and I worry that
I was about to say, yeah, you have a...
Yeah, I worry that it undermines my professionalism, although, you know, a lot of my coworkers think it's really cool and understand, but I worry that my clients will be like, wow, this lady's an idiot. And I'm not. I am, but I'm not. I'm an idiot in like...
Well, we know there's a... I won't say who because I don't know if he wants this information out or whatever, but there is a comic in St. Louis who during the day is a therapist and a psychiatrist, I believe. And he doesn't like those two worlds to cross. Yeah. But he's like, this is what I do to just kind of have fun and relieve stress and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think it's cool. I would love to go to a therapist that is like, yeah, I like to get up and just be silly from time to time. Or I like to just, you know, I have a very stressful, very sad job sometimes. And so I want to go be silly, you know? And to me, I think that's cool. I think that I love that people can do both, you know? But that's just me. Okay, best hot dog topping.
Chili, cheese, onions. I like a chili dog.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I can do like any mustard, relish, grilled onions, sauerkraut. That's what I was eating yesterday on mine. But I'm a barbecue bitch, and I like to make like real skin hot dogs that snap with like,
oh yeah,
put on the fixings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because barbecue bitch was my nickname in high school, and I love. I'm not a huge hot dog person as is, but I'm like, if you go to a baseball game, you got to have a hot dog. You know what I mean? Like you just
yesterday.
Right, yeah, or 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Like
I wanted to eat 9.
Yeah, that's how I am. It's like if I'm gonna have one, I'm gonna have. I treat hot dogs the same way I kind of treat beers, where it's like, well, if I have one, I might as well.
I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna feel so bad tomorrow.
Exactly. Get the Pedialyte ready. But I love, so sweet and spicy are my 2 favorite flavor combinations.
You can do that with hot dogs. Of course you can.
Barbecue sauce with a little bit
of
of like jalapenos or something. So it's like, I don't know. I haven't
really a balanced mouth feel for the palate.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to be like, how can I describe this in a sophisticated way? And I'm not that sophisticated.
I like how we're trying to be sophisticated about hot dogs, you know, like the.
Yeah.
I realized recently, or somebody brought this to my whatever. Apparently, putting ketchup on a hot dog is controversial.
Right. Yeah.
And I did not know that.
Purists will tell you.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit move. But I feel like, okay, so when I eat a hot dog without a bun, I'll dip it in ketchup. But if it's on a bun, I don't know why this changes everything for me. But I don't feel like I can put it on there.
I've never heard anyone say anything about it until about a year ago when people were like,
yeah.
"Oh, you can't put ketchup on a hot dog." I'm like, "What? What?"
But if I'm having a corn dog, I need ketchup for it.
Exactly.
It's like a very different. So being from Illinois, Chicago, it is sacrilege to put ketchup on a hot dog. But then Springfield, Illinois, home of Cozy Dog, the original corn dog, they're big fans of dipping in ketchup.
Okay, so where do pigs in a blanket fall on the ketchup?
I feel like so wrapping a hot dog in a croissant, pretty sophisticated. When you talk about a sophisticated mouthfeel for a snack, a hot dog snack.
You can use ketchup, but it has to be the British kind. It has to be tomato
yes,
paste.
Right.
Like that's
It's a catsup.
There you go.
Right?
There
It's
you
not
go.
a ketchup.
Yeah,
it's
you can't.
catsup.
You can't have that Heinz 57. Yeah. This seems unholy
What
to
is
me.
that? Is that mango?
It
That
looks like pineapple.
uh-huh.
It looks like pineapple and chives, which I would kind of understand.
Pineapple and chive. No, that maybe green onion.
Well,
Chives would be smaller and like more like.
right. Okay. So yeah, maybe it is. This looks like dill right here.
Ooh,
But
I love dill on almost anything, but I've never thought about that on a hot dog.
I don't know.
This is wild. Where did you get this?
This to me
is like
seems not
This is
okay.
like farm to table bullshit here. This is the
See,
kind
I
of
like
thing
this.
that you'd pay. This hot dog is $17 and doesn't come with a side.
Yeah, no. These are. I think the only one that I would go for, honestly, is probably just
The cheese
covered in
cheddar
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just melted cheese.
So if you have
A hot dog with cheese, do you want like a cheese whiz or do you want like
melted slice.
That's a good question. For a hot dog, I can go cheese whiz.
Yes. Yes.
But for just about anything else, I want a slice of cheese.
Yeah.
You know?
If I have a chili dog, I want like a shredded cheese.
Yeah, like
on
a
top.
like a sprinkling of cheese. Yeah. I hate chili. I don't know why.
What?
I always have.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's
I know.
it's one of my favorite things to make.
I know. I know. It's
I make incredible chili.
I have so the first time I had a buddy who took me over to his grandparents' house, and you want to go over and you want to be polite or whatever, and he was like, "Oh man, Grandma made chili. I can't wait." And I was like, I'll just not eat." You know what I mean? But this is one of those houses where even if you're not hungry, you're gonna get fed. And so like they brought me a bowl of chili like as soon as I sat down, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I had to like stir it around to make it look like I ate some, and I was like, oh, so full. But it's one of those things where like even looking at it or smelling it sometimes makes me like shudder a
what
little bit.
is it?
I have no idea.
Are you a tomato soup person?
No, I hate all soups. I hate all stews.
What? Oh!
I hate.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about
Is
me.
it
But
like some connection to your time in the military? Was that a bad thing, or did it even predate?
it never
that?
came up. It never. I mean,
were-
it was
there were-
never.
You didn't eat like soup, stews, and chowders when you were in the military. That wasn't a thing, huh? I would have
No.
thought that would be like a regular meal
No.
because it's so easy to make for so many people.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think, but it just never. It never became a thing, and I just.
But I'm with your friend's grandma because people who make chili are like very proud of the chili
Oh,
that
yes.
they make.
Oh yes.
I feel that way. Like I want everyone to come over and eat some of it if I make it.
I feel that way about ribs. Like if I'm gonna
Yeah,
barbecue, like I was like, all right, you gotta try it. Come on, you gotta try the rib. Be like, oh, I don't eat pork, and you're like, that's okay, but you can still try it. You know what I mean? Like,
You could have a rib.
yeah, come on, just
That's
one
not-
rib.
I mean,
Come on.
You could have sliced that off a pig and it would have been just fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's like, it would have survived.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
One
this
rib.
pig is still alive.
One rib.
We just took, just this part. It's all right. No, I can't stand chili. I don't know what it is about soups, stews, chili. The closest thing that I can tolerate eating to any of that is jambalaya. I love jambalaya.
I love jambalaya. I'm going to New Orleans around my birthday this year.
I'm so
Such the best
jealous.
food city.
I love Cajun food.
Me too.
but
Me too.
I don't know. I can't do it. Okay, best comedy weekend you can imagine. So say you're hosting the show.
My gosh.
Pick a feature and a headliner that you would love to work out or like love to work with, and like a green room hang, all of that. Like,
Well, I had what was like my unimaginably good one with Duncan Trussell this year.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, that
I
was
forgot about that.
Like because he has kind of similar woo-woo
Yeah.
beliefs to mine, so that it was like a great hang to talk about those things and like
I would love to hang with him and just get
existential
deep
kind of
and like
things.
just
yeah.
weird.
And it
I
was-
love conversations like that. Yeah, that would be perfect.
And also, he was so funny, and like he smashed it all weekend, and it was so great. So, hypothetically, though, I think that, gosh, that's so hard because there are so many people I really, really admire, and I've also had the opportunity to work with so many people.
Right,
that I
right.
admire.
This isn't that you don't respect anybody or whatever. It's just someone you haven't
Yeah.
worked with yet that you're like, man, I would really like.
Yeah.
It would
Rory
be really.
Scovel?
That would be good. Yeah.
And he's like the same kind of bizarro I think that I am, or like Zach Galifianakis live at the Purple Onion.
That was
era.
it. That's a great special.
Yeah.
That's.
So and then yeah,
This is my new character, guy who stares at the camera for a long time and then burps.
yeah.
It's so weird. I would love to work a weekend with Kathleen Madigan.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
she
yeah.
is one of the funniest comics. I mean, super underrated, I think, in my opinion. I mean, she's doing great. She's selling out theaters, so
So I guess
think
she's
she's
doing fine.
she's doing
It's
fine, but-
amazing to me that as like comedy nerds, we know of like there's so many incredible, amazing comedians out there and who are like doing things like selling out theaters,
Right.
and like plenty of people know about them, but they aren't mainstream famous. Like comedy people who are fans of stand-up, of course, know her, but
right.
but she's not. I couldn't say her name to on a Zoom meeting. with
Right,
all
right.
her
Well, if we were to walk out and talk to the 3 22-year-old girls working the front desk right now and said, "Hey, Kathleen Madigan's coming," they'd be like, "Oh, okay, oh, fun," but no idea.
Right.
Whereas any of us would be like, "Oh, where is she? Let's help me clean up," Yeah, but she just seems like she'd be super fun, and my aunt knows like a friend of hers or whatever, just because they like all grew up hanging out together and stuff. And so every time I'm like, "Hey, so like, how's Kathleen doing? Like, is she like doing any shows? Like, I do comedy a little bit, like always like I just want to meet her. But also I'm worried that if I did meet her, I wouldn't be able to be cool. You know what I mean? Where you like fanboy out a little bit and you're like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
it's
I have
so fun.
that weird feeling around people that I meet in Denver. Like I've seen them seen their specials or whatever, and
Right.
I'm new there, and they're just kind of hanging out in their home scene or whatever, and I feel weird around them because like they knowledge of them preceded my meeting of them.
Yeah. Last Saturday, I was featuring at the Funny Bone, and Yakov Smirnoff showed up,
Pat House is supposed to do a podcast with him, I think today, but he was
Really?
like, yeah, I was like, oh my God, Yakov Smirnoff.
Yeah.
He was on Night Court and I love Night Court so much.
He didn't, it's not like when someone comes in, they don't like, I am Yakov and I am here, like that. He was just
He
very,
wasn't like, hey, everybody.
yeah, he just
That's
came
more
in.
like the count then. Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry.
It's crazy how often those two blend together, But he just sat very quietly in the back of the room, and I was like, I wonder, I didn't know he was wearing a baseball hat, and he's obviously a little bit older than the last time I saw him on TV, and
Well, he's been hanging out in Branson
yeah,
for decades.
and I didn't recognize who he was, and I was getting ready to go up, and Andy Hamilton was the host, and he goes, hey, guys, we've got a special treat for you. We've got a very funny comic coming to the stage. And I was like, well, that's nice of him to say about Andy, you minch, And then he was like, guys, round of applause for Yakov Smirnoff. And I took a step forward and I was like, that's not my name. And then he just walked right past me and got on stage. And I was like, holy crap, that's you, And then it instantly hit me like, holy crap, I have to follow Yakov Smirnoff like that. And the crowd went ballistic when he got up on stage. And he crushed. And he did, 10 minutes or whatever. And just murdered. And then I had to get up there. And I was like, I'm funny. I can follow him. I'll just match his energy. Yeah. No, but I got on stage. And the first, 45 seconds, people were just like, Yakov Smirnoff was here. They were just talking to each other, and I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm not famous. Actually, he gets off stage. Andy's up there, and he's like, guys, give it up for Yakov. Everybody, cheer. Yeah. He goes, all right, guys, we got another comic coming to the stage, your feature for the evening. Very funny guy from here in St. Louis. Give it up for Eric Rustler. And I heard someone in the back of the room go, who? Like that. I was like, great, yeah.
He started throwing Molotov cocktails on the stage.
Bring back Yakov. Like, I'm so sorry, I'm not better.
At the Westport.
Yeah.
The stage bombs you.
That's good. I like
Thank
that. You talked about working in a restaurant earlier. What's the best part of a restaurant to work in? Front of house or back of house?
I was never a back of house person. That's always been like my go-to backup gig.
Yeah.
Even as a legal aid attorney, I've had to work at bars to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing a public service, it doesn't necessarily pay. Did I do something to this?
No, it's just
No?
sometimes when you bump it, it makes a noise. It's all right.
Okay. So I've worked at legal aid and been a bartender too, or until I went back to even when my first year of law school, I worked in an Italian restaurant, and I was the only person in my class I think that had a job on top of full-time law student like that, and I worked at a country club 2 years ago. So I like being a server or a bartender up to a certain point. I can do it for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, fuck this. This is,
Well,
I'm so sick of these
people are horrific.
So when I was working at that country club 2 years ago, I was working at a country club in a county that I had practiced law in. And so I would see judges and attorneys that I had worked with. But like very wealthy toddlers, they had no object permanence. So they couldn't pick me out of one place and put me in another. And I'd see someone and they'd have no idea that we had cases together, and I'm like, Rob,
Yeah.
we used to talk once a week. My face. Look at my face. Look at me. You know me.
Nothing.
No, because of course, bartenders aren't people.
They're there to do shit for you.
It's so
Ply me
weird.
with booze.
I was always back of house. which my daughter was applying for jobs recently, and she went to a couple fast food restaurants and stuff like that. And they would ask her, like, are you looking for like a front of house position or a back of house position? And she didn't understand what that was. So she was asking me about it. And I was like, baby, you're front of house. All right. You're you're cute.
Don't sell yourself short, Eric.
You're-
You're front of house material, too.
Now you're a mint. No. No, I've always been back of house. I'm an ogre. People don't want. I'm okay to be around people's food. They just don't want to see it.
I guess
you know?
like if maybe like a lumberjack themed restaurant, you would do great. Like if everyone had to wear like a flannel.
Yeah, I could do that. Flannel and suspenders.
You could hit a flannel for
I'm
sure.
thinking, what if we? I mean, it's like the male version of Hooters, but they're all lumberjacks. So just jean cutoff shorts, suspenders,
Logs.
Yeah.
Logs.
Yeah. So, I feel I don't know. I feel a $1 million
$1 idea.
Yeah, I feel it.
Business.
I
plan.
feel it. Best comedy movie of the early 2000s.
I love well, This Is the End is like one of my favorite movies, but I don't think that's like early 2000s. I really like Will Ferrell, like Talladega Nights is
Hot
huge
take.
for me.
I think Talladega Nights is better than Step Brothers.
Oh, you know what? Like, yeah, I've always liked that one better too. I didn't know that was a hot take. I had no
lot
idea.
of people, I'm sure that if there'll be comments, they'll be like, "You're insane! It's the best movie." You know, I think
Step Brothers? I mean, Step Brothers is good. It's funny, but
It's good and it's funny.
Talladega Nights is great because like it's funny, but there's also like it's really like it's like heavy satire.
I feel like
And it's before the whole country got so fucking dumb.
yeah, exactly.
And
But I feel like Step Brothers. There's a lot of that movie that doesn't tie into anything else in the movie. Like there's parts where like they go for job interviews or whatever, and it's like it has no
stupidity.
It doesn't move the story
sake.
along. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just stupidity just to be stupid, and it's
Yeah.
funny. It is
Yeah.
funny. I'm not saying it's
It's
not.
like a vehicle
But-
for their very silly improv.
Yeah. They're like,
And-
hey, we want to do this scene. And it's
Right.
like, okay, well, it doesn't really
Yeah.
move the story forward
Right.
at all. Talladega Nights, like, everything's kind of
Yeah.
progresses.
Yeah.
And it is funny. But Team America World Police, when I first saw that, it made me laugh so hard. I remember.
do love puppets. I do love puppets
I
doing
did.
silly things.
There's so many parts to that movie that are just like little things that are just just little moments that are so funny. Like there's a part where there's the main puppet goes undercover and he goes into that the terrorist bar. And one of them goes in after him, and they're like, "Gary," and everybody just pulls out guns, and she just mows everybody down just for like 30 seconds, and then everyone's dead, and she just goes, "Gary," like that. To me, it's like that's so funny. There's so many good moments in that movie that you forget about, but there was, I mean, that decade from 2000 to 2009. Oh, you're fine. Is like there were so many great comedies.
Yes.
The Hangover, Superbad,
Oh, yeah.
Mean Girls. The original Friday came out in '99, so it doesn't count. But Next Friday and Friday After Next were both in there.
I kind of like during this time I was like, well, I guess it wasn't really early 2000s, but like I was really absorbed with like with college and my kid and everything, and so I feel like I missed out on a lot of pop culture stuff from like 2005ish to like 2010 when I got done with law school, and now that I'm pretty much just a feral human. I'm catching up on it.
I like that. Now that I'm feral, I like that. I think we all need to go feral for a couple. I mean,
Yeah, you
once or
deserve
twice.
at least like 10 years of being a feral adult. And I didn't get that in my 20s.
Yeah,
So I'm right back.
I think I had bursts of ferality.
Ferality?
Yeah.
Will-
Feralness, feralosity. No, I've never. I don't know. I just. I don't want to go too crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I kind of like.
Yeah, don't call it a midlife crisis. Let's call it feral.
Well, especially at 34. If I'm having a midlife crisis at 34, like,
Oh. Well, any time could be midlife
Yeah.
because you just don't know. And
Well,
the way
I mean,
the way
some-
I'm living right now.
some could say starting a podcast and a comedy career with 2 kids is that might be a cry for help, you know?
I've
Okay.
been in perpetual midlife crisis since I was like 12 years old. So just never know
Hey.
when the end date's going to be.
So,
You don't
Let's
know
just-
the expiration
if your
date on
midlife
this.
crisis doesn't end, you're
Right.
still midlife. You know what I
That's
mean?
right, yeah.
You can't wrap up. You're still halfway. What's the best way to kill time in a new place? Going to
New
museum,
place.
zoo, botanical
Like,
gardens.
If you're traveling for, say, a show and you're in a city that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I like to find a weird restaurant,
Yeah,
like the weirdest I can find.
that's a great
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I like to find like something that is specific to the place, something that I can't get anywhere else, and usually like a themed restaurant. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So in Omaha, there's the best steakhouse in America, and it's Franciscan monk themed. It's called
Okay.
Brother Sebastian, and every room is like a different room in the monastery. And then they play like bell music, like kind of like it's just like you're eating whatever, a hunk of prime rib, and it's like bong bong like the whole meal.
I mean, I would eat there.
And the food is good, and it's like and all of the waiters are wearing like Franciscan monk outfits, like whatever the I don't know what you call them, but they're dresses essentially with like a rope.
Oh yeah,
belt.
like the frocks or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
The
And-
friar tuck garb.
Right. And I went to, when I was in Wisconsin last week, or 2 weeks ago, I went to a restaurant called Friar Tuck's, which was also Franciscan monk themed.
Where do you find these places? Do you just Yelp like?
Do you have a restaurant in your city with a weird religious theme? 'Cause I want to eat there. But also, like, if there's like a Tex-Mex restaurant that's like chuck wagon themed, you know what I mean?
Okay,
like
yeah.
covered wagon themed, and they have like wagon wheels everywhere. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm on board. You're hitting you hit the nail on it. But the only thing I know about monks, like my 2 main reference points for monks, is Friar Tuck from the old like Disney Robin Hood.
I'd eat a snake.
Cartoon?
I'd eat a snake. I'd eat a steak with him.
Yeah. And the
He'd probably
monks
rather eat a snake.
from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they go around chanting and then smack themselves with a board or whatever, which would make me so happy if that's how they brought you the menus. You know, they all walk, quack, you know, which I would love. Also, if they made the waiters shave like just the top of their head, that's serious dedication. You know what I
The
mean?
waitresses.
Even the hostess.
So they just end up having like a skullet.
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with the skullet. I mean, I can't do zoos. They make me sad.
Oh, zoos are zoos are sad.
It is. I mean, it
I
is
do-
cool to be like,
Yeah.
oh look, a lion, but at the same time, it's like, oh, that lion is super sad.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I
why.
don't know if they are, because of the like status of global development, if zoos are like, we've come all the way around and they're helping animals now, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because now, like, I think I read an article that the last white rhino in Africa was killed because a lot of its habitat was lost. So, like, now zoos are like, is
Yeah.
it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It is sad. It is. And, like, every year at the St. Louis Zoo, at least, like, 3 polar bears, because they can't handle it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you take something that lives in
Right.
negative 30
Right.
degrees
And
and
put
drop it off in
97
100, yeah,
degrees.
with humidity.
Right.
And they're like, why is this bear not? Yeah, see, he looks sick. And I
Should be
wonder.
thriving.
Yeah,
Should
yeah.
be thriving here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we gave him a beach ball. What else?
And then he choked himself on it in grapes.
It's just bear suicide.
There was a bear who choked himself on the beach ball.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh, whoops. No, I've been to some zoos where it's like, okay, they treat the animals nice and it looks like they're doing like the right thing or trying to do the right thing, I guess. But then there's sometimes where you go there and you just look at the animals, and I can't stand it when you see them like pacing back and
Yeah.
forth, and you're just like, oh
Yeah.
man, oh, this is like
Yeah.
heartbreaking. You know what I mean? I like an art museum.
Oh, I do too.
Art museums are
Yeah.
pretty fun. We went to one in Austin last year, and it was abstract art. And I found this painting that was, the size of that wall, and I loved it. And it was just shapes and colors and just
That
all
is-
kinds of stuff. And I was like, oh, I really like that. I was just kind of sitting there looking at it, taking it in. And Ben Johnson was with me. And he was like, oh, I like this. And I was like, me too. He goes, what's it about? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what's the painting about? I'm like, I don't know. I just like the way it looks. It's my favorite colors, and I like the way they kind of all morph into each other and stuff. And he's like, well, you got to read the plaque. And I was like, I don't want to. And he's like, no, you got to read the plaque. You got to know what the artist was trying to communicate. And I was like, okay. And so I go up and I read the plaque, and it was like, this is a depiction of the rape of the native people by the white man, and blah blah blah. And I was like, now I'm sad. All right. So I bring that up to him all the time. Be like, hey, remember that time you ruined a happy moment for me? Remember that time you took all my good feelings and made them bad feelings? Like, thanks, man.
I like surrealism. That's my favorite period, because abstractism is not really. I don't like, and it's exactly that way. Like your interpretation of the piece can be so significantly different than the artist's intention, but that doesn't make it wrong. That doesn't make either of you wrong. But I like surrealism because even though it is bizarro land, weird bullshit, Magritte, whatever, there's still, like, you are able to connect through the artist without, just through the imagery that they use.
I get that. I like that. I know I do. I love a good. Have you ever been to the Chicago Art Museum?
I have, yes.
It's really impressive.
Yes, I've done all of the museums there. I have gone up to Chicago. I took the bar exam there, and I take my kid for trips there. So we've done all of the, and the one in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. Well, you got it. Yeah. You just do the Ferris Bueller tour. Like, it's like we just went to one painting in the museum, and then
And we what's the word I'm looking for?
hijacked a parade.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're up there
That's very
dancing.
good.
Your kid's like, Mom, please.
So embarrassing. Everywhere we go, she just whips out the moves.
Yeah. Can't contain this. Let's see. Okay, best way to tell if somebody's a bad person.
Well, I think I had this one time, and I thought,
Like, just being mean to animals is one thing.
That's
but, yeah, for no reason.
that's a big
pretty
one.
shitty.
I that's a big. One thing I will look at is your dogs, like especially with dogs, the nails.
yeah.
A lot of people are really
I
bad
will
about.
say though, like once my dog got over like 15 years old, like it hurt her so badly that
Yeah.
it got.
I understand it's unpleasant, and a lot of dogs are like super big babies about it and stuff like that. But also, I've seen people that let their nails grow so long
yeah.
that they're
They curl
they're like
into
they
them.
curl up, and you can tell it's painful for the dog to walk,
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
come on, man, like
Yeah.
take care of the dog. Like
Yeah.
like my dog hates having his nails trimmed. Like you have to like lay him in your lap and rub his ears and just like distract him while someone
Yeah.
clips and does the thing. But I don't know. I can't stand when people mistreat animals. I knew someone who had a dog and they never let it out of the cage, and you're just like, I mean, and it wasn't like a crate, like a small one. It was like a big portion of their patio, but still, like it was like an 8x10 fenced in area, but still, that's not a life. You know what I mean? Like that's even prisoners get to go out in the yard and run
Right.
around. So it's like, I don't know. That annoys me.
I think another thing that indicates to me that someone is a bad person is that, like, if they are so, like, if they are so unaware of the people around them that
Yes.
they, like, elbow bump or whatever when they're walking, or, like, they are just, they're intentionally, like, they intentionally disregard other people in their space.
Yes.
And it ends up like they end up knocking people's stuff over or whatever. Like I feel like a good person is aware a little bit
Of their
aware,
surroundings.
right?
Yeah,
and of other people.
I think that's a great example, because there's a lot of people who are like, well, I matter, and this is my world,
Right.
and I'm doing my
Right.
life, and I have
Yeah.
this to do. And it's like, yeah, but there's other people, and
Yeah.
so we're all trying to, we're all trying to do stuff,
Yeah.
and
And that kind of like flows into like the way that they interact with you. If
Yes.
Someone always brings a conversation back to themselves, if they can never
live with you in your experience and like ask you questions about that, they just kind of like they
well, but
right,
no, I'm just
right. Yeah, no, it's just like that.
No, yeah,
And it's okay
yeah.
if you do it. Eric.
Immediately, like, I feel like I've cut you off like 7 times already. Oh no, am I a bad person? Littering. That's a big one. I get so frustrated.
Yeah.
When I see people litter, because I'm like, come on. Like,
I lived in Granite City for a while, and this lady was like in my car, a friend of mine, and I had never seen anyone just take trash and like throw it out of the window like that. Like I've seen people flick cigarette butts out, but I had never seen someone take like their bag of fast food trash and throw it out onto
that's
the street. It was crazy to me.
infuriating.
Crazy.
Infuriating. It's so that is just the most epic way of just being like, I don't care about anything but me.
Yeah.
And I would rather drive with a car full of trash than ever throw something out the window,
And
If
I do.
I don't know if
car
you've
is
seen
so
my car,
gross.
but there's about 1 million
Yeah.
disposable coffee
Yeah.
cups in there.
I've driven 3,500 miles in like the last month and a half. It's disgusting in there.
That was when I went to ask you, because I knew you were driving a lot. Best road trip snacks.
Oh, I carry string cheese on me all the time. Like I call it purse cheese.
Okay.
because I just always have it.
Are you a string cheese or is like Baby Bell? Will you do
Well,
that as well, or is it?
Since I've been to Wisconsin, now I've gotten some cheese curds.
I'm a bit of a cheese connoisseur. Yeah.
Yeah. So now cheese curds that squeak when you bite into them, that's kind of a thing for me. But I also like any cheese. Any cheese.
The fact that as soon as you was like, and when they squeak, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly that. I know that feeling. I've heard that noise. Yeah.
So tasty. And I'll stop and get like, when I'm on a road trip though, I am powering through. Like I stop twice. I fill up from Denver to St. Louis. I stop twice.
Mm-hmm.
I fill up with gas. I piss. And then I drive on. And then I'm not stopping again until I fill up with gas. I have to piss. I'm driving on. And I will get a Whataburger in Kansas City sometimes.
That makes sense.
If there's like a fast food chain that I can't get, or like a burger that I know I want somewhere, I'll stop for that. I stopped at Portillo's on the way to Wisconsin because
You have to.
numb.
Yeah. Numb. Well, that's an hour and 15. Wow. That went by quick. Let's scroll through here. Oh yeah, best way to show you trust somebody.
Oh, well, I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know any.
I don't really do that. I guess I feel like I'm a person who is very open and loving to a lot of people, and I want to like have a good time and like have them over to my home and like cook for them and do things and like facilitate good experiences. But because of also the person that I am, I have a hard time like genuine, actual, like connected trust with someone. So maybe the best way that I show that I trust someone is to share with them. I guess when I start sharing the deep personal dirt.
Okay, yeah. When you open up to somebody.
Yeah, because I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm a surface level person. I'll talk about, whatever, philosophy, all of these deep things that are meaningful to me. But like when I share things about like the my terrible marriage or like my weirdo childhood or whatever, when I talk about like the real things, I feel like I trust the person that I'm talking to.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a really good one. It's a lot better than mine. I was like, if I give you my keys, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Like the other day, I left something in my car, and my buddy Rick, who was at the mic last night, he was like, "Oh, I'll go grab it," and I just tossed him my keys without even thinking about it. I'm like, "Oh, I guess I trust him. I guess I trust him a lot." He didn't even drive my car. He just went, grabbed something.
That might be the difference between men's friendships and women's friendships.
Maybe. Maybe. I was about to say, because I've known him 8 years or something, and I had to ask him the other day. I was like, "What's your son's name again?" Like that. And it was like not a disrespectful thing. It's just because if he ever does talk about it, he's like, "Well, my son did this and my son did that." And and we don't talk, we don't say names, and so it was like, "Hey man, I don't know how to say this and not sound disrespectful, but what's your kid's name?" Like that. And he was like, "Oh yeah," and he told me, and he's like, "We don't." He's like, "I don't ever talk about it, so I wouldn't expect you to know it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I was hoping you wouldn't get offended, But yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is my favorite.
Thank you. I
love
having
fun to watch. I love watching the episodes.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's a really good glimpse into people that I really like into their lives, and you do a great job hosting it. And
Well,
I like to do it.
If you have anybody that you know that would like to come on, let me know, let them know. I'm
Okay.
always looking for new guests. I have put out so many invitations to people, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to," and then like nothing happens, and you're like,
Huh.
"Oh okay."
It's so fun.
Yeah,
I love
and I'm really
ruminating
trying to
and what
branch
have you.
out from the same. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, I love, I love having my friends on because it's always fun to talk to them. Like I texted Enzo yesterday and I was like, hey, do you want to come be silly with me? And he was like, I would love to be silly. But like you were talking about, you're staying with Ella, and Casey. I would love to have them on. I've had, just recently I had Teal on, or I guess it was a while back now, but I'm trying to get more and more people. And also if they're not comics, I'm trying to get restaurant owners and, small business owners and anybody who wants to come and promote. So if you ever have anybody who's like, hey, this would be fun, let me know. And I would love to reach out to them.
Yeah.
But you're always welcome. Every time you're in town, let's just plan on doing one if you want
plan
to.
on being silly.
Yeah. You want to come be silly with me?
Yeah. You betcha.
We'll just change it to the silly podcast.
The silliest?
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Oh, real quick, you want to plug your shows and social media again?
Corey does stuff. Corey _does stuff on Instagram. I have Helium this weekend, which is that's this is going to be out after that. But I have a bunch of. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know all of my dates.
Right. So make sure you go follow her.
Please do.
And if you're out in the Denver area, go check her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next week. Bye.